My son asked me to co-sign his mortgage, said he wanted to start a life. I put my name down because I trusted him. Last week, I got an eviction notice for his house. He'd stopped paying months ago. "Why should I suffer just because you're dumb enough to sign things?" he said over text. I looked up at that empty shell of a house, then drove straight to the courthouse where I never thought I'd be sitting in my car with a garbage bag full of my things, trying to understand how my own son put me here. If this sounds like a made-up story, I wish it were. But this is my real life. My name's Arlene. I'm 58, from Gary, Indiana. I raised my son Darren by myself after his father walked out when Darren was 12. I worked at Martin's Grocery for over 30 years, missed holidays, birthdays, and nights out because I had to keep a roof over our heads. And I was proud to do it. That boy was everything to me. Darren's always been smooth. He talks fast, knows how to smile just right, and always makes you feel like you're the only person in the room. He used to charm the teachers, the neighbors, even my own mother when she was alive. I used to think that charm was going to take him far. I didn't know it was going to be used against me. This all started last spring when Darren came to visit me out of the blue. He hadn't been by in a while, maybe 3 months, and then there he was, standing in my doorway with a bag of takeout from the barbecue place I like in Merrillville. I should have known something was up right then. He sat across from me, smiling, saying all the right things. "Ma, I've been thinking a lot. I'm ready to settle down. Get a place of my own. Maybe even find someone to build a life with." I remember tearing up. My boy, finally growing up. He told me he found a house. A nice one, small yard, decent neighborhood. But the bank wouldn't approve the mortgage unless someone with a better credit score co-signed. "It's just paperwork," he said. "You'll never have to pay a dime. I just need your name on it." He held my hand. I felt this warmth in my chest. I thought, this is what mothers are for. So I signed. He closed on the house in May. I went with him to look at it once. It was a bit run down but had potential. Darren said he was going to fix it up, maybe rent it for a bit and then move in when he was ready. I didn't ask too many questions. I was just proud. He called me more often after that, sent photos of paint samples, showed me a new couch he bought. I figured he was really trying. Then around November, I got a letter. Delinquency notice. I thought it was a mistake. Called Darren, no answer. I left a message. A week later, I got another one. I texted him. He finally responded 3 days later, short and cold, "I'm handling it. Chill." That didn't feel like my son. By January, I was getting calls from the bank. They said the loan was in default. I panicked. I called Darren over and over. Finally, he answered, and I could tell he was annoyed. Like I was bothering him. "Ma, I got laid off. I'm figuring it out. Why didn't you tell me?" "I could've, I didn't tell you because I knew you'd freak out. And now you're freaking out. I'm not a child anymore. Let me handle it." Then in April, I got a knock on my apartment door. Sheriff's deputy. He handed me a folded stack of papers. Notice of eviction, stamped across the top. Not for my apartment, but for the Merrillville house. That was the first time I realized how deep this went. I drove to the house. It was empty. Windows boarded. Grass overgrown. I just stood there, heart pounding. I texted Darren again. "Why didn't you tell me it got this bad?" He replied with one line. "Why should I suffer just because you're dumb enough to sign things?" I don't remember the drive to the courthouse. All I know is I ended up there, crying in the hallway, trying to figure out what to do next. A clerk saw me and brought me to the legal aid office. That's where I met Rachel. She looked over everything, mortgage papers, my name on the deed, the texts. She leaned back in her chair and said, "You might be able to stop the foreclosure." And you definitely have a case against your son. The word case stuck in my head like a hammer. She helped me file paperwork to pause the foreclosure. Then we started digging. Rachel got in touch with some real estate contacts. Turns out Darren had listed the house on Airbnb for most of last year. And he wasn't living there. He'd been renting it out, sometimes for hundreds a night, while making zero payments to the bank. I wanted to throw up. Then we found something worse. He'd taken out a personal loan using the house as leverage. A loan for $30,000. My name was nowhere on that loan, but it was tied to the property. If the bank foreclosed, they'd come for me too. So I filed a lawsuit. Fraud, misrepresentation, financial elder abuse. Rachel helped me get a temporary injunction on the property. I also sent demand letters to the loan company, showing they had no right to hold me accountable for a loan I didn't sign. We served Darren papers at his job. He'd gotten another dealership job in Hammond. He didn't respond to the suit. Didn't show up in court. The judge ruled in my favor by default. I got the house back in my name. The personal loan got voided from my liability. But that wasn't the end. A few weeks later, I got a call from a former tenant, someone who stayed at the house through Airbnb. She said she'd paid Darren in cash. Said he told her it was his grandmother's house and he was helping her rent it out. That pushed me over the edge. I added criminal fraud charges. Filed police reports. Got the DA involved. They started investigating. They found dozens of transactions linked to Darren's personal Venmo. They subpoenaed his accounts. More proof. More lies. Then one morning, I got a call from the county jail. Ms. Arlene? We have your son here. He's been arrested on financial fraud, elder abuse, and theft by deception. I didn't cry. I went to his arraignment. He didn't look at me once. His lawyer tried to claim he had mental stress, said he didn't mean to hurt me. But they had the receipts. The emails. The texts. He pled not guilty. Trial date's coming. And I'm not done yet. The court case wasn't even the hardest part. What came after Darren's arrest turned my whole life upside down again, just in a different way. The first real twist came when I got a call from a woman named Marcy. I didn't know her, but she sure knew me. Are you Darren's mother? She asked. I paused. Who's asking? I'm the woman he lived with for almost a year. He told me you were dead. I sat down. Marcy said she met Darren at the dealership. They started dating quick, and within 2 months, he moved into her condo in Valparaiso. She said he always had stories about how his late mother left him a house, and how he was just trying to get his life in order after losing me. He cried about me to her. Faked pictures of my funeral. Told her he was too heartbroken to talk to other family. He told her he had no one. That house he used my name to buy? He told her it was a family home he inherited. He showed her fake documents that used my forged signature. She was crying by the end of the call. She said she kicked him out when he started disappearing for days and money began vanishing from her savings. He'd drained her checking account one night when she left her debit card on the counter. I gave her Rachel's number. Told her to join the suit. Turns out, Darren didn't just screw me over. There were 4 other people, an ex-coworker, an old roommate, and 2 women he dated on and off. Each one had a story about missing money, lies about dead relatives, and Darren borrowing things that never came back. We added them all to the civil case. Grouped it into one massive complaint. The DA began seeing it for what it was, a pattern. A lifestyle. A couple weeks later, I got another letter. This one from a private lender. Apparently Darren had used my identity to take out a payday loan. That's right. He'd faked my ID and signed up for a $5,000 loan using my social. The payments had defaulted, and collections were knocking on my door. Rachel filed a police report on that too. We sent him proof, got it cleared, but I was getting tired. Tired and angry. I couldn't sleep anymore. I started locking my windows. I started carrying pepper spray. I felt like I didn't even know the world around me. Then the last twist dropped. I got a letter from a storage facility out in Portage. Final notice, it read. Unit registered under Arlene M., last name, will be auctioned for non-payment in 7 days. I never rented a storage unit. I called the number. The man on the phone said the unit was under my name but was opened by Darren, using my driver's license. I drove out there the same day. When I got there, they let me look inside before it was auctioned. Inside? Boxes and boxes of electronics, sneakers, clothes with tags still on, and piles of unopened Amazon packages. Stuff worth thousands. And at the back, file boxes. Full of paperwork, ID copies, receipts, even what looked like draft versions of scam letters. I felt sick. I turned it all over to the police. Turns out, Darren had been running small cons for years. Selling stuff on eBay that he never delivered. Listing fake rentals on Facebook. Using me, and others, as a cover when things got too close. The DA officially added identity theft and wire fraud charges to the case. Now, he was facing real prison time. Still, there were nights I'd stare at my phone, wondering if I should text him. Ask him why. Ask if he was sorry. But every time I got close, I'd remember that message he sent, "Why should I suffer just because you're dumb enough to sign things?" That line lived in my bones now. I went to the first day of the trial. I watched him walk into the courtroom in a suit that didn't quite fit. He didn't look at me. He looked past me like I was just another face in the crowd. His lawyer tried to spin it. He was under pressure. He panicked. He made mistakes. But the evidence spoke louder. And I wasn't done speaking. When they called me up to testify, I stood there, looked right at him, and told the truth. About the lies. The eviction. The text. The storage unit. The fake funeral. The damage. He finally looked at me then. Not with guilt. With rage. Like I was the one who ruined his life. After I testified, something changed in that courtroom. People started looking at Darren different. Even his lawyer looked like he wanted to be anywhere else. I thought that would be it, me telling my side and waiting for the verdict. But no. Darren had one more game to play. 2 days after I testified, I got a call from a woman named Sharon. She said she was a social worker from the Indiana Department of Child Services. "I need to confirm a few things," she said. "You're listed as next of kin for a minor child. Your granddaughter." I sat down at my kitchen table. "What are you talking about?" I asked. She hesitated. "Darren's daughter. She's 6. I hung up. Not because I didn't believe her, but because I did. I called the number back. She was real. So was the case. Sharon told me Darren had listed my name on paperwork when the child's mother got arrested on drug charges a few weeks earlier. Said I was willing to take custody if anything happened. Said I was a loving grandma who'd do the right thing. I told her I'd never even met the little girl. The next day, I met with Sharon in person. She brought the girl, Tori. Big brown eyes, quiet, holding a stuffed elephant. She looked scared and tired. I didn't see Darren in her face. But I saw myself. Something about the way she kept glancing around the room like it might disappear. I agreed to temporary custody. Rachel wasn't thrilled. "You sure this is what you want?" "I'm not doing it for him," I said. "I'm doing it for her." Over the next few weeks, I started to learn just how bad Darren had left things. He hadn't seen Tori in nearly a year. The mother, some woman named Cheyenne, had a record full of drugs, theft, and a few assault charges. They were never married. Darren never paid support. But somehow, when it came time to clean up the mess, he tossed my name in like it was his get-out-of-jail card. Tori started staying with me full-time. She was quiet but smart. Asked a lot of questions. Wanted to know why her mom was gone. Why her dad never came to see her. I didn't have answers. I just made her pancakes in the morning and read to her at night. I bought her a little desk. Put it in the corner of my living room. She started drawing pictures, one of me holding her hand. Another of a house with a sun over it. She said, "This one's our house. This one's safe." Every time I looked at her, I got more furious at Darren. Not just for what he did to me, but for what he didn't do for her. At the trial, when they brought up his lack of child support and the lies about guardianship, even the judge looked disgusted. The prosecutor laid out the full picture, how he used people, how he ran cons, and how he left a little girl without a parent. That's when Darren's lawyer pulled a stunt. He tried to get a plea deal. Claimed Darren would sign over full custody to me if charges were dropped or reduced. Said Darren was willing to cooperate if the court showed him mercy. I told them where to shove it. Rachel filed a motion to deny any deal. He's not protecting that girl. He's trying to use her like he used everyone else. The judge agreed. No deal. But the stunt brought something new into the courtroom: Cheyenne's parents. I didn't know she had any family. They showed up to the next hearing and tried to get temporary custody of Tori. Said I had no legal right. We went to family court. Had to fight it all over again. Their lawyer came after me hard, asking why I didn't know about Tori before, why I hadn't visited, why I didn't do more. They tried to make me look like I was just another stranger in this girl's life. But I had Tori with me. She held my hand the whole time. When the judge asked her if she wanted to live with her grandparents, she looked him in the eye and said, "I don't know them. I want to stay with Arlene." That shut them down. I got emergency guardianship. Permanent custody was pending. Another fight. Another hearing. But I was in it. And Darren? He still sat in that courtroom like none of it was his fault. Like he was the one who'd been betrayed. The DA brought in the final piece a week later. Evidence that Darren had used multiple fake identities online to run rental scams in Chicago, South Bend, and even as far as Dayton, Ohio. Bank statements. Venmo logs. Facebook screenshots. It painted him as more than just a manipulator. It showed he was a predator. The prosecutor called him a serial defrauder with no remorse. The courtroom was quiet when they said it. But I wasn't done watching. The last day of the trial, the courtroom was packed. Even though it wasn't on TV, word had spread. People showed up, some who knew Darren, some who'd been scammed by someone like him. Some just wanted to see how it would all end. Darren walked in like nothing could touch him. Clean haircut, new suit. Like the past year hadn't happened. Like he wasn't about to be sentenced for fraud, theft, elder abuse, identity theft, and child abandonment. He didn't look at me. Not once. He never looked at Tori either. When the judge read the verdict, guilty on every single count, Darren just sat down like his legs gave out. The sentence came next. 25 years. Not probation. Not some soft plea. 25 years in state prison, no early release for the first 15. He cried. I didn't. After court, I walked out holding Tori's hand. We passed by the reporters. I didn't say much, just told them, I hope this helps someone else out there who trusted the wrong person. But the story wasn't over, not yet. Because revenge isn't just watching someone get sentenced. It's making sure they feel it. And I wasn't going to leave anything on the table. I filed a civil judgment for damages. Emotional distress. Lost wages. Legal costs. And that storage unit? I sold every legal item in it. Donated half the money to the women Darren conned. The rest I used to cover Tori's school tuition. He tried to fight the judgment from prison. Filed papers claiming he was broke. But then Rachel found out Darren had squirreled away money, hidden in PayPal, in gift cards, even crypto accounts under fake names. The court seized it. Every cent. I used it to buy a home. Not a big one. A quiet 2-bedroom house in Chesterton. A garden, a front porch, a swing for Tori. It was mine. Paid for. No debt. No loans. No Darren. A few months later, Cheyenne's parents tried again to take Tori. But I was ready. I brought records, school reports, even drawings Tori made of us together. The judge looked at her and said, "Where do you feel safe?" She pointed at me. With her. I got full custody. She started calling me grandma without me asking. I never corrected her. The final twist came in a letter. From Darren. Mailed from prison, full of neat handwriting and fake apology. I didn't mean for things to get that bad. You know I wasn't always like this. Maybe you failed me too. Maybe we both made mistakes. He ended it by asking me to send pictures of Tori. So I don't forget what I lost. I didn't respond. Instead, I mailed it back, with one note: real fathers don't use their daughters as tools. Real sons don't destroy their mothers. This is what losing really feels like. Then I blocked the prison from contacting me again. I went back to work part-time at the grocery store, just to stay busy. But most of my days were filled with Tori, school drop-offs, bedtime stories, weekend pancakes. She brought color back into my life. Darren lost everything. His freedom, his name, his image. No one would hire him again. His exes shared our court case online, his scams were public now. When he gets out in his 50s, he'll have nothing but his record. As for me? I lost my son. But I gained peace. And something stronger than revenge. I got justice. And I gave a little girl a real home.